Okay, let's go!
We're going on a scenic road trip along Interstate 26. Come on, let's go! Alright everyone, today I'm doing my own version of Interstate 26. Interstate 26 is a very beautiful road here in this part of the country, as it travels through the Appalachian Mountains and into South Carolina, where it dead ends at US 17 down in Charleston. Also, I've recently just been on Interstate 26 and would like to share some cool pictures that I took while on this highway. Also, we're going to be talking more about Erwin, Tennessee. So, let's get started with this highway. But first, you're watching TheDerpHog, where I make highways content on all sorts of different topics. If you've been enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button. And if you've been really enjoying it, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you're notified on all future videos. And if you really want to help out the channel, become a member today, where you get custom cool emojis, early access to future videos, along with one free extra request per month. And if you don't want to become a member, you can always just pay $3 for a intersection request in future videos. Those highways will be listed down in the description below, and I'll make sure to shout you out when that video releases. So let's get on with the highway. Here we have a map of Interstate 26, and it starts all the way down here in Charleston, South Carolina, and travels all the way up to the Tri-Cities in Tennessee. And the blue part here is the part of the route that I've been on. So with that, we're going to be talking about northwestbound Interstate 26. So we begin here on US 17, where US 17 is going to be splitting off from Interstate 26 in 3/4 of a mile, while Interstate 26 is signed for North Charleston and Columbia. Here is where US 17 is splitting off from Interstate 26, and we're going to be talking more about US 17's control cities next week. But in the meantime, we're going to be staying on Interstate 26, which still gets the same control cities of North Charleston and Columbia. Here I'm meaning the first child route of Interstate 26, Interstate 526, and it just gets US 17's control cities because US 17 actually heads towards Savannah and Mount Pleasant. Here I mean US Highway 52 still in the Charleston area, and get signed for Goose Creek and Monk's Corner. I think those are good choices because Florence is a little bit too far to be signed from here. Also, if you're going to be heading towards Florence, you'd probably stay on 26 to take 95 instead of taking US 52 all the way there. And Interstate 26 is now signed west for Columbia now. Here I'm in US Highway 78 and it's signed east for Goose Creek, while 78 West gets nothing. On our first mileage sign on Interstate 26, we get Columbia on the bottom line at 84 miles away. And now we're meeting US Highway 15, which is signed north for Santee and south for St. George. And I'm going to be doing a video on US Highway 15 sometime next year because I've been on parts of the route and it's a very interesting road. Now we're meeting Interstate 95, which is signed north for Florence and south for Savannah. Savannah is a great choice for southbound 95. 95 north is an iffy choice. I'd rather see Fayetteville there, but I kind of get it if Fayetteville's too far away. So Florence might be the next biggest town. Exit 169A was actually requested by Speedboy14, so thank you for the request. Now we're meeting US Highway 301, which gets north for Santee like US 15 north, and it's signed south for Orangeburg. Okay. Now we're meeting US Highway 601, and it's signed for St. Matthews and Orangeburg. So US 601 and 301 meet in Orangeburg, so that's pretty cool. And this exit was actually requested by Ryan Golden, so thank you for the exit. And our next mileage sign, we get Columbia on the bottom line at 35 miles away. Now we're meeting US Highway 21 on the outskirts of Columbia, and it gets no control cities. That's pretty odd. Here we're meeting the southern terminus of Interstate 77, which is signed north for Charlotte, which is a great choice. And we're now signed west for Spartanburg. Personally, I'd rather see Greenville there because Greenville is the bigger of the two cities. And I bet most Greenville traffic will actually be taking Interstate 26 to 385 to get to Greenville. Now we're meeting US Highway 1, and it's signed north for West Columbia and south for Lexington, South Carolina. Why is there so many Lexingtons here in the southeast? Here are mean Interstate 20, and 20 is signed east for Florence and west for Augusta, which are good choices. And like I said, at 77, that should be Greenville instead of Spartanburg. What? When did we come to Fuquay? I thought Interstate 26 only ran in western North Carolina, not in eastern. Now remaining a parent-child concurrency, and it's US 76 and 176, and they're signed for Ballantyne and White Rock. And our next mileage sign, we get Greenville on their secondary at 89 miles away, and Spartanburg is their primary at 81. So is South Carolina DOT trying to tell us that Greenville is actually our primary, or is it still Spartanburg? And South Carolina is just trying to pull an Interstate 80 in Pennsylvania. They're doing that because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 signs that they do this on. So it must either be Spartanburg or Greenville as our primary. And please just fix that those mileage signs. You're not in Pennsylvania, you're in South Carolina. But at random intersections, Interstate 26 is signed west for Spartanburg. Now remaining Interstate 385, which takes you into Greenville and downtown Greenville. And now Interstate 26, I believe, should be signed north for Asheville at this point because, again, Asheville's way bigger than Spartanburg. Yes, I know you meet Interstate 85 in Spartanburg, but you also meet Interstate 40 in Asheville. And Asheville's way bigger than Spartanburg. But our next mileage sign, we just get Spartanburg on the bottom line at 18 miles away. Come on, SC Dot. Here I mean US Highway 29 in the Spartanburg area, and Interstate 26 just get this weird looking pull-through sign with no control city on it, or not even an arrow. Now we're meeting Interstate 85, which is signed north for Charlotte and south for Greenville. Honestly, I'd like to see Atlanta there, or like Greenville and Atlanta, because Greenville's alright to be signed, but not by itself. But that 85 north for Charlotte is awesome. And let's take a look to see what we're signed for on Interstate 85. We're signed for Asheville! Alright. Now we're meeting US Highway 176 as we head closer towards Asheville and the North Carolina state line. And our next mileage sign, we get Asheville on the bottom line at 54 miles away, so that's great. Now we're entering into the state of North Carolina. Uh-oh. Let's see how North Carolina treats Interstate 26. And on our first mileage sign here in North Carolina, we get Asheville on the bottom line. Wow, that's pretty awesome! Now we're meeting US Highway 74, which gets signed east for Forest City and Shelby. Now, if this was eastbound Interstate 26, I would have a problem with this, but since it's westbound, 74 east for Shelby is alright, because if you wanted to get to Charlotte, you would have stayed on 85 and not take 26 up to 74. Now we're meeting US Highway 25, and US 25, US 74, and Interstate 26 are not all heading towards Asheville. Here we're meeting Interstate 64 in the Hendersonville area, and it's signed east for Bat Cave. No, that should not be Bat Cave. 1, to protect Batman's secret identity, and 2, Batcave's an unincorporated community. That should be Rutherfordton or Morganton, North Carolina, not Batcave. And 64 west for Hendersonville's alright because I believe it takes you to downtown. We're still signed northwest for Asheville, and apparently it looks like that US 74 has left the chat here. Now we're meeting Interstate 40, and it's signed east for, oh my goodness, Hickory and Biltmore Estate. What are they doing here? That should not be Hickory and Biltmore Estate. That should be Hickory and Winston-Salem, or Statesville and Winston-Salem. No need for the Biltmore Estate. The Biltmore Estate's literally an attraction. And literally the next exit, so why are they signing it on Interstate 40? Oh my goodness. Now we're going to be joining with Interstate 240, and we're signed for downtown Asheville and Johnson City, which are great choices. And Now we're splitting off from Interstate 240, which is just signed for the expressway. And now we're become future Interstate 26 because this portion of Interstate 26 is not yet up to interstate standards. So US 19, 23, and 70 West are all signed for Weaverville. Yeah, I hope they change that when Interstate 26 actually gets signed. Our next mileage sign here on future Interstate 26, we get Johnson City at 50 miles away, so that's a wonderful mileage sign. Here, further up the road, as Interstate 26 regains its interstate status, US 19 is splitting off from US 23 and Interstate 26 to head north towards Burnsville and Spruce Pine. Also, if you want to check out an awesome series made by Quartermont 437 on US 19, be sure to check out the card in the top right corner here. Now we're entering into the state of Tennessee 9 miles up the road, and we get passed by this beautiful mountain here. And on Interstate 26, we have a pretty cool lookout here, and you get to see this. Here's where US 19W is going to be rejoining with us, as it's signed for Temple Hill Road. Now we're meeting US Highway 321 here in the Johnson City area, and it's signed for Elizabethton. Okay. Here is downtown Johnson City from afar. Here in the Johnson City area, where 19W is going to be joining with US 11E as they're signed north for Roan Street. Personally, I'd like to put Bristol there instead of Roan Street. And for southbound 11E, that should be Morristown instead of Roan Street. Also, this excerpt was requested by Aaron the Zeroth, so thank you for this. Now we're meeting Interstate 81, and it's signed north for Bristol and south for Knoxville, which are good choices. And from this point north of here, we're actually now on former Interstate 181, so that's pretty cool. And 7 miles up the road, we're now meeting the western terminus of Interstate 26, and it's at US 11W, which just gets the Kentucky treatment for Weststone Drive. No, I'd rather see Morristown there, or Knoxville, instead of just Weststone Drive, please. And now we can end at Interstate 26 and begin Tennessee Route 137 shield. And if we follow Tennessee Route 137, we end up here at US 23, which is signed north for Gate City. Though we're going to be talking a bit more about US 23 coming up in the near future. So with that, we're going to be turning around and doing southeastbound Interstate 26. So we begin here at the Virginia and Tennessee state line, where we have a 2 Interstate 26 and US 23 South for Johnson City and Asheville. So, yay! And our first exit here on Interstate 26 and US 23, we're now meeting US 11W once again. And, hey T-Dot, can you please tell me what this begin sign belongs to? Does it belong to this speed limit sign or Interstate 26? There we go. Further up the road, we get our first reassurance shield for Interstate 26 and US 23. And at random intersections, Interstate 26 is now signed east for Johnson City, which is a good choice. Here I'm meeting Interstate 81 once again, and it's signed north for Bristol and south for Knoxville. And here on Interstate 87, we're actually signed for Asheville and Johnson City still. Though apparently they have seemed to reverse the order, because when we started we had Johnson City on the top and Asheville on the bottom line, but here we have Asheville on the top and Johnson City on the bottom. I'm going to fix that real quick. There we go. Now it's time for Johnson City and Asheville corrected. Now we're meeting US 11E and 19W once again. And 19W South is going to be joining with us. And at this junction here, 19W, 23, and 26 are all signed for Asheville. But at the very next exit, 26 East, 19W, and 23 South are signed for Erwin. Where in the world is Erwin? And at this bridge here, we're actually going to pull through for the 3 highways, and it's signed for Asheville. So are we heading towards Asheville or Erwin, T-Dot? Make up your mind. And apparently they do, and they're signing Erwin over Asheville here at this mileage sign. And we only get a one-liner! And Erwin's only 13 miles away. Oh my goodness! You know what's further up the road, T-Dot? Asheville. And you know what's 16 times the size of Erwin? Asheville. So why are you giving the U.S. highway treatment here on Interstate 26, T-Dot? You know what? Because of this, you're demoted from S tier to T tier for this is totally stupid! You know what? In honor of Asheville, I'm gonna burn this sign and replace it with an Asheville. Thank you very much. And this here is the exit for Erwin, and as you can see, there's like literally nothing here except for some beautiful mountains. So why was it signed on a mileage sign? Ugh. Let's see. I want to just look at this beautiful scenery as I calm down from that Erwin. And as now 19W splits off from us, as it's just signed for Temple Hill Road. No, there should be a control city for 19W South, not the Kentucky treatment all the way out here. Ah, some more beautiful scenery, thank you. Now we're entering into the North Carolina, and let's hope that North Carolina doesn't anger me, like T-Dot did. Here we get some beautiful scenery here on this runway ramp, and this exit was taken by Math Wizard 534 himself, so thank you for the picture. And our first mileage sign in North Carolina, we get Asheville, which is a great choice, and not like Weaverville or anything. Hey T-Dot, you should learn from NC Dot and sign Asheville. We get some more beautiful scenery as we head toward Asheville. And here is where US 19 South is going to be joining us, and it's signed for North for Burnsville and Spruce Pine. And now we're turning back into future Interstate 26 as 19 and 23 are going to be heading south towards Asheville. And on our way to Asheville, we pick up US 25 and US 70. Here's where US 19 and 23 and future Interstate 26 is going to be joined with Interstate 240 West, signed for West Asheville. And here's where Interstate 26 respawns as normal Interstate 26 and is signed east for Hendersonville and Spartanburg. Personally, I'd like to see Greenville or Charlotte there instead of just Spartanburg, because this is probably a faster way to get to Charlotte from here, while Interstate 40 is signed westward Canton and Knoxville, which are great choices. And as we can see in the distance, that US 74 is now going to be joining us. And in fact, we get the two reassurance shields for Interstate 26 and US 74. Here's where US 25 is reuniting with Interstate 26, and we're signed south for Spartanburg and Greenville. Wow, NT Dot is pulling the big guns here and signing two out-of-state big cities. That's pretty awesome by them. Here at the US 64 junction once again, and we're still getting the same dual control cities for Spartanburg and Greenville. Also, US 64 was requested by AR Nathan, so thank you for that. And plus, I recommend you checking out my US 64 series. Here's where US 25 is splitting off from Interstate 26, and we're now just signed east for Spartanburg. While 25 is the faster way to get to Greenville, and I think is a good choice. And since US 25 is actually a freeway here all the way down to Traveler's Rest, I think it should become Interstate 326. Our next mileage sign, we still get Spartanburg on the bottom line at 41 miles away. And are we in Ohio? Because apparently Western North Carolina likes to have Ohio cities for some random reason. Now here's where US 74 splits off from us as it heads east towards Columbus and Rutherfordton. No, this way it should be signed for Charlotte. So that should be Rutherfordton and Charlotte, not Columbus and Rutherfordton. While 26 is signed east for Spartanburg, which I think is a good choice. But our next mileage time, we get Columbia on the bottom line, 116 miles away. Oh my goodness, that's a rare NC.W here. And we have now completed the trifecta of signing state capitals. Now we're entering into the state of South Carolina, and you'll about to see why I said that I give that rare NC.W. Because on our first mileage sign in South Carolina, we get Spartanburg on the bottom line at only 19 miles away. Come on, SC Dot. I can't believe your northern neighbor has outclassed you. Now we're meeting Interstate 85 in the Spartanburg area, and it gets south for Greenville and north for Charlotte. remaining US 29 once again, still in the Spartanburg area. Our next mileage sign in South Carolina, we get Columbia on the bottom line at 89 miles away. And here is where Interstate 385 is feeding into Interstate 26, and sadly, eastbound 26 has no direct access to Interstate 385. And our next pull through, we get 26 east for Columbia, and we're also meeting South Carolina Highway 56 for Clinton. And I'd like to mention this exit here, South Carolina 773, because on my recent trip to South Carolina, I actually stopped at this exit to refill on some snacks and stuff. Now in the Columbia area, we're now meeting Interstate 20, which is signed east for Florence and west for Augusta. Here, still in the Columbia area, we're now meeting Interstate 126, which takes you into downtown Columbia. And we're now signed east for the Columbia Airport in Charleston. Here are meeting US Highway 1 as we head out of Columbia and towards Charleston. And now we're meeting Interstate 77, which is signed north for Charlotte, and we're still signed east for Charleston. And our next mileage sign, we get Orangeburg on the top line at 30 miles away, and Charleston at a perfect 100. Here I'm meeting US Highway 301 once again, and just like last time, it gets the same control cities. It ain't lonely if it has a homie. Now we're meeting Interstate 95, which is signed south for Savannah and north for Florence once again. Personally, I already gave my opinion about that Florence. And now we're meeting US Highway 15 once again, it's signed south for St. George and north for Holly Hill. What? So this is different from westbound 26. I wonder why 15 north on westbound 26 has a different control city than eastbound 26.
Strange, isn't it?
Here I mean US Highway 78 once again, and it's signed east for 2 US 52 this time. Oh, 78 West still gets no westbound control city. Here I mean Interstate 526, which like last time just gets US 17's control cities. And now we're meeting US Highway 52, which takes you into downtown Charleston, but we're going to be staying on Interstate 26 here. Here at the eastern terminus of Interstate 26, we're meeting US Highway 17, and we're going to be joining with US 17 South as we head towards Savannah and Meeting Street. And this exit was requested by Erwin the Zeroth. And if we follow this ramp down to US 17 South, we end up here at King Street, where we get no end Interstate 26 shield. We just get King Street and continue as a surface street as US 17. So with that, we're going to be ending Interstate 26 and moving on to the way it should be for Interstate 26. So this is my take on the way it should be, because Control C Freak never did the way it should be in his original 26 video. So this is the way it should be for eastbound 26. First, I'll do Johnson City. Then next I'll do Erwin? How'd that get on here? Sorry, I must have been possessed by the US highway portion of TDOT. Then I'd do Asheville. Then Greenville and Spartanburg, like NCDOT does it. And then once US 25 splits off from Interstate 26, I'd just do Spartanburg. And after that, I'd do Columbia, then Charleston. And then for westbound Interstate 26, I'd start with Columbia first. Then from Interstate 77, I actually do Greenville. And then once 26 splits off from 385, I'd actually jump straight to Asheville instead of doing Spartanburg. And then after Asheville, I do Johnson City, and then after Johnson City, I'll do Kingsport, because that's the western terminus of Interstate 26. And then if you want to, you can throw in US 23's northbound control city for Gate City, or you don't have to. I think Kingsport's a good ending to Interstate 26. And that ends Interstate 26. Thank y'all so much for watching this video on Interstate 26. I hope you guys learned something new about the highway, and I hope you guys enjoyed the scenery along this interstate. So with that, these are my next few highways. Next week I'm going to be doing US Highway 17 northbound, and then after that I'm going to be doing the US 158 reboot, and then after US 158 reboot I'm going to be doing US 17 southbound, and then I'm going to be taking a short break to prepare for my first international route of the channel. M50 motorway in Ireland because Florida State is going to be playing its first college football game there against Georgia Tech. So, yeah, that'll be pretty cool. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.